Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Last episode, this is different. This is a different moment for me, starting a video. Last episode was is probably the biggest emotional toll that I've had upon me since starting any show on this channel. For everything regarding story, fantastic. The story is about Light, the Death Note, and his journey. That I can acknowledge. Great writing. Personally, after watching that episode, that affected me throughout the rest of the night. I kept thinking about it. It was so well done, and it destroyed me, man. It was a masterpiece. Everything was great. The visuals, everything was amazing. It destroyed me.
Once we got off camera and we were just kind of sitting in here, we were both kind of just talking through, like, why does it feel like that's not real, but also feels like it needed to happen in a way, for the fact that there's like 37 episodes and you don't want the story to get stale of being the same old. Like, we knew Higuchi, we knew he was going to get caught. And it was kind of like, what do you do now with that time? It's only a matter of time, right? What was Light's plan? And now we know Light's plan, and Light's plan is coming full force into fruition. He's getting exactly what he wanted, exactly what he thought would happen. And it's at the expense of a character that is probably going to be on my list of favorite characters, like, ever.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but it was so hard
I was in denial.
It was so hard to leave that episode and actually believe that it had happened.
Yeah.
Even though it made complete sense that it had. So yeah, it was totally a denial.
It's interesting because it kind of in the past two episodes, it's felt like we've lost two characters in a way. Not in the same scale, but like Light as a character written before he gave up the Death Note. Incredible. Like, I love how he plan this out and how smart he is. But it was like a separate character of Light after he'd forgotten his memories that I was starting to fall in love with too.
I know. I found, honestly, both characters of Light are very interesting and compelling, and make for a good main character protagonist. I was really enjoying the Light with no memories, and I think one of the main things that was making me enjoy that was his internal kind of fight to understand his own ideals, and if he would have actually used the Death Note, him working through all of that. I found that so intriguing.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought it would be interesting if we saw him kind of come to a realization that it was him without gaining the memories back at first, and kind of see what his character would have done operating under the full, like, his deductive belief that he had in fact used a Death Note. That would have been interesting. Maybe him like, maybe a plan that Light would have had that I'll be able to figure out that it was me. I'll lay these clues. Mm-hmm. That would have been interesting too, other than him just kind of suddenly it all coming forward and back to him.
Yep.
But obviously, this story is how the story is, and we lost. Yeah, it did feel like he was a separate character in a way. So we did lose two characters.
Yeah. Man, it's just like I felt like I was being naive. Like, I was internally not thinking about when Elle was gonna die.
I know. I wasn't even in the realm of possibility
because I didn't want it to I love the character so much, and like I've felt so many feelings with him. Like, he makes me laugh. He makes me think. He's such a good character, and like it.
And I liked what he brought out in the other characters around him, because it seemed like he brought out some of their more argumentative sides. Like, he kind of almost helped everyone in the room kind of realize what they stood for, whether they disagreed with him or not. They kind of strengthened their own personal resolve and ideals through Elle. And I really liked what Elle was to Light, especially Light with no memories.
We got like a little bit of backstory, I guess, for Elle.
Not enough.
Yeah, I know. Like there
And
never
we
would
even
be
like
enough.
Watari's dead too. So
Okay, I was about to be like Watari, dead. Elle, dead. Rem, dead. Losing my religion. That's me in the corner. Fuck. I don't know where the story's gonna go.
I don't know why it didn't like click for me that like the moment Misa's in danger, Rem would totally do literally anything. And if
She acknowledged that that Light, this was his plan, and how fucking slimy he was for doing this plan.
Think of how slimy you have to be for Rem to say you're slimy. Rem's a literal god of death.
You know what? We got to see Elle have a conversation with Rem. I'd never thought that would happen.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think it was gonna happen like that.
Yeah.
I never thought that they'd let other people see Ryuk or Rem.
Yeah.
Even Chief Yagami's like looking at this thing.
They all
I'm
are.
surprised he didn't have another heart attack upon like seeing this being that should not exist.
Ugh, okay. I don't know where the story's gonna go. They have not done me wrong in any aspect, like from a storytelling perspective so far, so I have full faith that they're gonna go forward with the story in a positive way when it comes to the terms of how it's written. Like, I think it's gonna continue to be great.
I still don't know I liked what you said with positive in the way it's written.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily know what my ideal positive outcome for this show is.
Agreed.
This show is such like a conundrum in my mind of like, yes, I like Light as a character. Oh my gosh, Light's like evilly sneering and his eyes are red. Am I like even allowed to like him that much?
I love him as a character.
Right, he's such a good character, but then I'm like, I feel like I'm rooting for him, and then I'm like, wait, should I be rooting for him? But I'm rooting for him because he's the main character, and then I'm like, oh wait, Anna. You know, it's like such a conundrum, and I think it's so compelling to have a main character doing slightly some things that people wouldn't necessarily agree are like maybe the most kind-hearted things to do.
I have 2 questions for you. I have my opinion on both of them. The first question's answer, I am responding no, and the second one, yes.
Okay, you're already going to give me your answers?
Yeah. So the first question is, do you think that... What's a good way to word this? Do you think that we are going to learn any more about Elle's past?
Yes.
I think no. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Different phrase. Elle's past, or do you think we're ever going to learn Elle's real name?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I have a feeling that Elle as a concept of a character is not done. That's what my like feelings is saying. That like he lives on in all of us, you know, that like he might not be there, but the memory and or concept of Elle still exists in the show. And Light is taking on Elle's position. So I think there is potential that we could learn more about Elle even after his passing.
There's potential for it. If I had, like, my guess is no. Yours is yes. That's good that we
mainly probably because I just want it.
Yeah, I want it so bad.
It could be totally like a personal like feeling that makes me feel like it's the case.
Yeah,
it's clouding my intuition. I think.
Yeah,
is my personal wants.
That's fair. I definitely get you in the sense that I want it so bad. So
because we started getting glimpses of kind of like what his life was like, and I still want to know how he became, what is he, like, the top, like, 4 best detectives in the world or whatever. He's, like, all of them are, like, names that he's come up with. Like, how did he get there? How?
Like, I could watch a whole, like, series on its own to see where he got to where he was.
Cool?
It'd be
Wouldn't
amazing.
it, like, just a whole show that was basically, like, a prequel of, like, Elle in his life?
An Elle anthology series.
That would be awesome.
Okay, so my next question that I'm responding yes to.
Okay.
Does Misa die soon? Does she die? I think she dies.
Okay.
I think Light kills Misa very soon.
I don't know if I'd say very soon, but I totally don't believe that Light necessarily wants to keep her alive. Rem was an obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
Rem was the only obstacle that
Mm-hmm.
was basically keeping Light from just eradicating the troublesome thing that is Misa to him.
She's a liability.
She's a liability. At the moment, yes. Why I'm not like rushing to him killing her is because she has the eyes.
Okay. That is a great
And Rem's
point.
not around to kind of... you could almost think of Rem as being like... He could be worried that Rem would advise her in ways that Light wouldn't necessarily agree with. So if Light feels like he can have full control over Misa...
Yes, then it's only a benefit to him.
Then it's only a benefit.
Yeah.
If he can completely control her actions, she has no one else there to advise her...
Mm-hmm.
to focus on herself or otherwise, and she's fully operating as his eyes.
Yeah.
I don't see him killing her unless she slips up.
So
that's a loaded question, I guess. Like a yes and a no. I don't see it happening immediately, but I could see it happening towards the end. Because like no human is flawlessly going to, especially one who is not used to being controlled, is not going to fully always... We've already seen from Misa that Misa's going to make some of her own choices that she thinks will make Light happy, which aren't necessarily always what Light would have wanted her to do.
Yeah.
So she's a human. She's a person. She's a human. She has free will. She could totally mess up.
Yeah. Okay, hear me out for this train of thought, right?
Okay.
In order to kill Misa, I think there would need to be a reason to kill her. Like, not like I'm not talking like Light is motivated. Like, there needs to be a motivation to kill her even. Like, there needs to be a reason that Light kills her to the rest of the team. Like, there needs to be a way that Kira's out there and he found Misa's name and wants to kill her now. There needs to be an excuse for it.
Yeah, but isn't he going to try to squash the idea of Kira altogether with Higuchi's death? Like, what is he going to do? Is he going to become Kira while also investigating Kira? Or is he going to try to reimagine his kind of goal and plan to have Kira exist without being detected, I guess?
He wants the detection. He wants to be known. As far as I'm concerned. Also, this is like a little crazy like thought, but it's just, I guess, hopes of where the character goes, or like guesses. How interesting would it be if Light kind of devolved into a sense of like dread and paranoia? Maybe L's death could potentially contribute to that, of feeling alone, and then he gets more paranoid to the point of killing Misa, even though that she could have easily been controlled.
You know, the paranoia, I think that's a really interesting concept, because it could lend itself to imagery that's in the new intro. So we have Light like screaming, yelling, and there's all these replicas of him. But also we have this imagery of him walking, and there's all these people in the shadows kind of near him.
Yeah.
You know, he could get paranoid. He really could, especially because at least he knew that Elle was beside him, and Elle was the one investigating him. Like, at least he, even before he lost his memories, at least he was able to kind of have an eye on the enemy.
Yeah.
And if there is a new enemy, it's going to be like, think about how nervous he was getting before he met Elle. And he was trying to figure out, how do I find Elle? I need to do all these things. I wouldn't necessarily say he was like panicked, but I could totally see there being another person that comes along that tries to investigate and or catch him, and him getting kind of like, how do I find this person, you know?
There's no hints in the character that's been given to us, I think, that would lead to that.
No one we have now.
Yeah, but I don't think, like, at the moment, Light as a character wouldn't do that because he's too smart, right? And he's, like, already won versus Elle. He's on top. He's going to be the person who's taking over, for lack of a better way to put it.
It almost looks like it's going to be smooth sailing.
Yeah, but I'm just, like, I'm just so curious and invested in the show, and I want to know where it goes, that I'm just coming up with random speculations at this point.
Don't even know how this show could end. Like, I've talked to Ben about it. Like, what is a fulfilling end to this show for me? And I don't even have an answer to that.
Because they haven't told us yet. They haven't shown us yet.
whatever they came up with, I'm sure it's
I'm
going to be better
trusting.
than whatever I could try to think of as being fulfilling.
Because if we get everything we personally want, that's not a fulfilling ending.
Well, it's already too late for me to get everything I wanted, Ben, so.
I know. Okay, you ready?
Unless they can, like, have a way to, like, revive, like, can Gods of Death revive a dead person? Because then they could bring Elle back, and then I'd be happy. But that's not going to happen, so.
Maybe what's his name? Like the dad, Shinigami, the person that Ryuken.
The old man or something?
Old man. Maybe old man is like, I like this L guy. Bring him back. I don't know. I'm ready.
Because maybe he likes watching all this too.
Yeah.
As fun entertainment.
It's a TV show. Why would you want it to ever end?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this show.
Okay, you ready?
Man, I don't know where we're gonna go. Last episode was so beautiful. Elle had so many good lines.
It really was. Death Note doesn't normally seem to have like beautiful episodes, but last episode was remarkably a masterpiece compared to everything else.
Do you remember the audio in the rain?
The audio, the things they were doing, just on a more creative level, for full kind of immersion into the episode was amazing.
For my own personal reasons, I wish they didn't give us a new intro until after Elle died, so they didn't have to show me Elle in the intro anymore, because now I'm just sad.
I did think it was interesting they only showed Elle at the very, very beginning, though.
Yeah.
Like, if Elle is such a main character, why was he only just in it for, like, a second?
I wonder if this means we're not gonna be able to hear Elle's theme anymore, like the music that plays when he's on a roll. Fuck, we have to watch it again.
Deleting all the data.
Yep.
Wateri's strength to, like, be in the middle of, like, maybe a heart attack or something and able to do what he needed to do.
Watari was such a great character, bro.
Although this was announced as a worldwide broadcast, the truth is, we are only broadcasting in the Kanto region. Kira has
Just like a full-on recap.
Yeah.
Everything Elle's done.
141 to know how much control he had over his victims before he could use it.
Do you think he recorded everything he had
That's
so
what I'm
far and is giving it to somebody else just in case? He knew he was gonna die, right?
I think he had full knowing that he was gonna get caught before the end of this by Kira.
An important witness, Naomi Misura.
Are you honestly telling me that
He did not have like any gray hair back then. Does this not feel like a list of
It does.
information that he's compiled to give to
But
somebody
I'm
else?
wondering, like, when Watari clicks the button, does it do more than just delete everything?
Maybe.
Elle is smart. He totally has a backup plan to if he died, in my opinion.
Are in fact Kira.
I appreciate this, even if that's not happening, because I needed this as like an emotional send-off to this character. I want a voice changer for like video games, for like Valorant, that makes me sound like Elle's voice changer voice.
Wow, the details in Chief Yagami's glasses of the lights in the dashboard of the car, that was cool.
About it, you are Kira.
Oh, I hope we see the expression change.
I know I must look pretty. I suppose
I'll have to get rid of it.
Ryuzaki, I realized that I was the one pushing for confinement. Pointless. I'm not Kira.
Jesus.
Look at that face.
Yeah.
Here, I just heard.
You know,
I'm not sure.
in my book, Elle won in his own way. He found out the truth. He cracked the case. He just couldn't really do anything about it.
He couldn't prove it. The craziest part is neither of them had memories of being murderers
Right?
when this happened. This would have been so freaking traumatizing.
If we're seeing all this and then we have to like sit through Elle's funeral, I am going to be so
Oh
sad.
my god, are they gonna do a funeral?
The man, the myth, the Aizawa.
right there?
Watari was so cool.
I know. Shot the gun out of his hand.
Amazing. That's why I want to know the backstory. Like, who the hell is Watari?
Right?
How does he have these skills?
The following is the record which contains everything I have investigated on the Kira incident. The fact that now you are reading this message means I am
I'm
no
dead.
longer alive at this moment.
Holy
Oh!
I leave this record as my firm achievement. That is all.
For who? Oh, and then does it delete right after?
It's been 10 days since Ryozaki's funeral.
We didn't even get to see it.
He's not gonna die after all.
We know Watari's true identity now, but we never found out anything about who Ryuzaki really was.
Yeah, that's good have guessed that Watari was actually a famous inventor.
What?
What?
The paper says he founded orphanages around the world using the fortune he inherited from his patent.
Orphanages.
He's a fine man.
I should be able to transfer the system and most of the information out of here by tonight. I've created a voice filter identical to the one Ryuzaki used. We can use it to make the police think he's still alive. Who is gonna take the place of L? Where will he work from? And what do we do with the notebook?
You're the only one who can take on the role of L.
I can understand how you feel, but you're really the only one of us who can do this.
That's right. Even Ryuzaki said so himself. You would be
This
capable
feels
of
so
succeeding
fucking
L.
wrong.
Just as I thought. It's too simple. It's no fun without Ryuzaki here.
Then why'd you go and kill him? Well, Rem killed him, technically. So.
Light killed him.
In fact, it'll be possible for me to act as L in the comfort of my own room. But it'll be difficult to pull off with Mom and Sayu around. Things would be easier if I could rent a one-bedroom apartment.
Well, considering your age, it certainly wouldn't look odd to anyone if I let you move out on your own.
Please, Chief. It's gotta be you.
Yeah, Chief. We can count on you. You're a pillar of justice after all.
All right.
We'll avenge Ryuzaki together.
Yeah. Kira is still...
I could just imagine that Matsuda had this like elaborate plan of this hiding place when he raised his hand, but it was not a good hiding place. That's what I imagine.
Light.
He's bored.
There's some fucking...
There's something going on there.
Let's move in together.
Do you mean it?
Well, he can better control her if they live together.
Victory.
Over Kiyomi and Mari and Yuri. You were just using those other girls to trick L. You don't have any reason to see them.
You gonna ask Ryuk to move in too?
In that case, I guess things are gonna get pretty boring from now on.
That's not true, Ryuk.
No?
From this moment on, I'll show you the creation of the new world.
Well, now he can really start.
I feel like he's gonna become an like...
I feel like superpowers are about to start happening.
I feel like he's about to become a composer and like just orchestrate over the skyline.
The music lends itself to that. He's orchestrating a new world. Look at that. The trail it leaves, too. This is so reminiscent.
Yeah. Is he really gonna go off now?
He can kill as many people as he wants. It doesn't matter because L was his real competitor. He killed Weddy?
She's a criminal.
Iber? Are we gonna see Iber?
Iber.
Oh no! That was
Why do you
horrible.
have to show us the...
All of Yotsuba!
All of Yotsuba, no.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's a new start.
Namikawa!
Fuck, dude.
Light Yagami, age 23, joined Japan's National Police Agency. Numerous people around the world were terrified of Kira, and yet there were just as many cheering him on, and soon certain nations began to accept Kira's judgment. The world was heading into a dark age in which Kira's will was the only law.
Kira's will was the only law?
That's L's computer.
Transmission.
Is this the orphanage?
This is the from the flash. Watari?
What is it, Roger?
From the intro. From the intro. From the intro.
Holy shit.
Is this an orphanage for like super detective spies?
It totally could be because Watari seemingly is the person who founded these, right?
He
was an
founded
inventor.
them. He was an inventor. He took on this kind of butler role for L. L respects these people enough to transmit messages to them, even if it's just L is dead.
Do you think that it's just L is dead, or do you think it's a complete file that Light saw?
It could just
How much
be L
time
is dead.
passed?
I don't know. We don't even know how much was on the timer. Because, like, when did L set that timer? Did L set that timer as soon as he left that room and they moved into the other building? Did L set that? He set a timer. Oh my god. Both him and Light like timing.
I have so many questions.
There was no freaking doubt in my mind that L would have thought that about an extra plan for whatever if he died. No doubt in my mind he would have done that.
I agree with you. I guess the whole thematic thing that I picked up on that is obviously gonna probably go nowhere is Light seemingly missing L.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought that for a second at least.
I know, because he was saying he was bored.
And
but
then,
that
like,
was
just
only
looking at his chair.
Obviously, he was bored up until the moment he realized, oh wait, now I can create the world.
Yep, and then that void, if it's still there, is gonna be filled by L's successors, I guess, right?
But is he bored anymore now that he is creating this world and countries are trusting his judgment?
That's what I'm saying. How much time passed? Because it seems like
they noted that it was 2012 that it started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't know what year it's gonna be when the next episode opens up.
Correct. I wouldn't imagine. It depends on the timer, right?
It seemed like there was time because it seemed like. Obviously, there was enough time for it to become like a dark age. There was enough time for countries to kind of come to this consensus of how they felt about Kira globally. So in my mind, that means Kira has extended their reach outside of Japan and is killing criminals from like everywhere.
Watari is Batman. Am I wrong? like he is an inventor. He's rich. He starts an orphanage. Why would Batman start an orphanage? Because his fucking parents died. Watari has to be Batman. Like that's like.
That's why I'm like, are these like children in this certain orphanage, the Whammy's house or whatever it was? Are these kids just like super geniuses?
Whammy's house, I think.
Whammy's?
Yeah.
Is this the house of super geniuses?
It could be.
Like, obviously, L was there and was taken from there by Watari.
The one dude is doing a puzzle. Almost completed.
One guy was just, like, sitting... He was, like...
Was that thematic?
He was, like, squatting on the floor with a puzzle.
Was that thematic that, like, most of the puzzles already done?
There's just a few pieces left?
Yeah.
How many pieces?
3.
There were 3 pieces that weren't put in?
Yeah. So do you think that that's, like, a symbolism of L's completed most of it and they just need to finish it?
No. Do you know what I think it is? I mean, it could totally be that. Okay. Other than, you know how in the intro I thought that was a more grown-up Light?
Mm-hmm.
I still think it is because obviously I think a lot of time has passed.
Mm-hmm.
But there are 3 other people. There's a blonde guy, a kind of white-haired guy, and then a girl after that. Those are 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
3 puzzle pieces.
Very true.
But it also could be what you said.
Or a mix of both.
Or a mix of both.
Fuck.
He asked Misa to move in with him.
Yeah.
He's not killing her. He's using her.
That whole scene was that was the scene right after like he looked at L's chair, and I was still feeling like, what are you gonna do? Like, because like it seemed like it was still affecting him when he was talking to Misa.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for her.
She was like, I win, victory.
Yeah, that was so funny. And then she was like, fuck all those other thoughts, I win. Like, I was like, Ryuk is like acknowledging the fact that it's going to be boring now.
Yes.
And then L turned that shit around. Light. God, I keep mixing the two up.
I kind of wish that their names didn't both start with the same letter.
Yeah, for idiots like me who can't fucking distinguish it. But I loved did you get the symbolism of Light or like composing an orchestra over the entire world? What countries do you think like fell to Light's, or Kikira, I guess, or have started believing in his ideals, he killed Weddy and Iber. And then the Iber scene, Daddy?
Oh my
I was like,
God.
what the fuck is that? Why do you have to do
worst.
that?
Okay, I know it wasn't... Well, okay, I also think about it this way. It was their real names. So obviously, Light got access to the real names somehow. Whether it was he was just looking in police reports
Or
at
asking
criminals, and so he didn't intentionally be like, oh, this is Weddy that I'm killing right now.
I think he did.
You think he knew? Well...
Which also goes into my next point of I am getting a feeling that Light's gauge for what determines if somebody is evil or a criminal is getting shorter and shorter. Like, it's taking less and less to be considered a criminal. Because
obviously Weddy and Iber were technically criminals, but they were also aiding in an investigation of a murderer, Kira. And they were working with, like... I feel like Chief Yagami's a good judge of character, and if he was able to get over working with Weddy and Iber to the point where he jumped in front and took a bullet.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like obviously those obviously it seems like he was probably a good dad too, Iber, you know?
Where do you think... Yeah, it did. Where do you think that, all Yotsuba's dead. Where do you think that Chief Yagami is taking or hiding the Death Note?
Okay, that's a really good question, because what it made me think of is Chief Yagami going to keep it in the back of his mind that L still suspected Light.
And is he going to kill Light in the final episode?
Oh, I was going to say, is he going to make sure he hides it somewhere he doesn't think Light would be able to find it?
Sorry, I projected there. That was a feeling. That was a feeling I had that by the end of the series,
Chief Yagami kills his own son.
By writing
Wouldn't
his
that be
name
cool?
in the Death
Since it happened before, and it happened. He has a Death Note now.
Yeah.
What if? I mean, think about it. He was totally willing to kill himself and his son. Will both be murderers. So what if he ever realized that Light was really doing it? He totally would use the Death Note and basically like sacrifice his soul in that way to be able to take down his son.
There's this is a very stupid question, and I acknowledge that. That Death Note still works even though Rem's dead, right? Yeah, right? It should. Like, there shouldn't be any corrence because the Death Note didn't belong.
Ownership.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. It was the thought that once touching it, you could see Rem now that Rem's gone. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
The only thing that makes me like know for sure is because of Jealous.
Oh, very true. Very true.
Because Rem took Jealous's Death Note after
true.
Jealous died. For Misa!
Yep.
In a way, I'm glad that Misa's getting something, I guess. Like, not a real love connection, but at least she's happy.
For now.
For now. I mean, now he can closely utilize her, and honestly, he could have, that's probably how he figured out Weddy and Iber's names.
Yeah.
Is through Misa.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were both very, like, I'm sure, like, aliases, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And, it felt so... I was so offended and felt so disrespected when Light was like, who's gonna take over L? And then...
He was just being, like... He was playing a little freaking game. That shows
so
how
easy.
Stupid he thinks everyone else is. Well,
compared to L, yeah.
Yeah. He was playing that little game, and he was like, this is so simple. Because obviously, no offense to... Well, actually, I guess it's full offense to the rest of the investigation team. Even with their heads together, they could not bring down Light.
Yeah.
Especially without L. And they're almost going to be like, they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing investigation now with Light.
I was about to be so pissed if they gave Light the other Death Note to hide. Before they gave it to Chief Yagami, I was like, if they fucking give it to Light, I'm going to be so upset.
And it's like, it fits into Light's plan that he would want it gone in a way, because he wouldn't want to give it back to Misa.
Mm-hmm.
Because he needs to be able to control Misa.
Yep.
She can't have her own, because then she might Like she said, if I see you flirting with a girl, I'm gonna, like, who knows? She might kill someone that Light hasn't deemed killable. But I think your point that he's extending his reach and his kind of ideals of who's worthy of death.
It's an assumption, but I think that that's where it's going.
Well, because, like, when do you stop?
Yeah.
When do you stop? At first, he was obviously not killing petty criminals.
Yeah.
But once you eradicate all of the really evil and malicious people from the world, wouldn't you then, you'd be bored again.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you then try to eradicate people that even do one thing wrong?
Yeah.
Steal?
I guess. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
Car accident that accidentally caused someone else's death?
I don't know if that's a great question. I think it's like all about morality, but it's also, where does the character go? Is there a limit is there an ending to Light's goal? If he does enough and then nobody commits any decently big crimes for a year, is it going to be like a Thanos? Like he can finally relax?
Yeah, will he be
fulfilled?
In a way, I'm like, I don't think he would be bored because he'd feel fulfilled and he'd feel like he
Yeah.
could walk the streets and live his life happy because he knows everyone else is a good person.
He'd
around
be out of
him.
a job if he wants to be a police officer. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, he's getting rid of a career.
So, did I understand that right? That Light and the chief and everybody joined back up with the police force and are rehired? Or
I think it's that they're still going to act as their investigation team, and they're going to pretend that Elle and Watari are still alive in order to interact with the police.
didn't they say in the little credit thing outro that on this date Light joined the police force?
Yes, okay.
Like, was that in the past, or was that like he rejoined it? And then is it he has the Kira facade, he has, or he actually is Kira, has like I'm actually a detective facade, and then I'm also playing Elle and Watari, like all at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh my god, of course that I'm sorry, I'm so slow. The fucking people at the end, of course that they just got a text saying Elle is dead, and that would be the first they're hearing of it, because to the rest of the world, Elle and Watari are still alive.
Yeah.
God, that's going to be so interesting. So only 3 people presumably know that Elle and Watari are a lie. That's crazy. It's going to be too much for Light to handle. I don't know. I was a little upset that 60% of this episode is recap, but I feel like they had to do it to end the episode where they did, and I'm glad where they ended the episode.
Why I liked it is because it was recap and then pushing us in the future.
Yes.
I think
and there was a reason for the recap.
Yeah, I think that's why it worked. Like, if they had just done that and then we'd gone into the other half of the episode was a normal episode.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have worked. But it was recap where we are right now, Light on the roof, able to start his new world, into the future, what his new world is doing to the rest of the planet. And then, obviously, the phone message.
What was how are they able to do a funeral for Watari and Ryuzaki?
They probably had a private one.
Okay, if they're still going with the, I guess, idea that they're still alive to the rest of the world.
That's a really good point, because where are you going to bury them?
How'd they figure out the Watari information? Didn't it kind of seem like it was a newspaper?
Yeah, it seemed like there...
Why would there be a newspaper written about it if he was still alive? Am I missing something?
No. There was a newspaper article about Watari. And
right?
the older man in the later scene with the 2 other people we don't know was looking at a picture of Watari, kind of like he was reminiscing about Watari after Watari's death.
Yeah.
So are they... Is it... You know what it is? They might have announced that Watari as who he is without his alias died. But has anyone like seen Watari? Yes, maybe.
That's a good question.
I don't know. That is kind of like funky. I'm like not really understanding.
Where it was before this, right?
He's mainly keeping up the L and the Watchery for the police. But like
yeah, but it was definitely in the newspaper.
Yeah. But was it about Watchery's death, or was it just talking about
the person that Watari actually was,
Yeah.
the inventor dying? We know Watari's true identity now. We never found out anything about who Ryuzaki really was. Who could have guessed that Watari was actually a famous inventor? The paper says he founded orphanages around the world using the fortune. Yeah, okay. There's a picture of him.
father of globe inventor Quilish Wami died?
Yeah.
Okay. So
So the orphanages were named after him. One. Right?
Watari was always in a disguise when he met with the police.
He was,
So
yeah.
technically the police wouldn't have to know that Watari died.
Yep.
This guy died. The real guy died.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, the people at the orphanage had a picture of him up because they knew he died.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't know if Elle was dead or not until they got the text.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I had to bring that up because I was a little confused about it. Yeah.
It was a little funky.
The Wami's house.
I'm still kind of trying to figure out how they did a funeral or cremated or buried either of them.
Yeah.
Without having to tell someone who they were.
Yeah.
Especially not knowing anything about Ryuzaki.
It's Elle. He's dead. 3 puzzle pieces.
From the back, they kind of looked like the 2 of the kids in Promise Neverland, which I've never seen, but just like I know what the characters look like. There's like a redhead kind of one. It was like it's like obviously yellow hair, and then like a white haired kid.
How old do you think these people are? Do you think they're still like do you think they're like helping out at the orphanage, or do you think they're kids?
That's a really good question. I feel like it's probably people that know Elle. But that doesn't mean it could be young people who looked up to Elle before Elle left the orphanage or something.
Maybe, because didn't Elle say that Light was the only friend he ever had, or something along the lines? I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, maybe they don't know Elle. But he says it's Elle.
Yeah.
So they might know of the idea of Elle, but they maybe never met Elle.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That was a really good episode. I'm still a little bit in disbelief that Elle's gone, but at least his work was not in vain.
Yeah. Dang, I can't wait for next episode because I want to see what the world looks like now.
I am so excited to see what the world looks like.
I want to know which countries have decided to trust his judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who is fighting back against him? Who's trying to investigate him?
It's going to be interesting.
I
wonder how much time, if any time, has actually passed. If it was 2 months or if it was a year, 2 years.
I mean, he was feverishly writing so many people. You know, he could kill as many people as he wanted in a day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I think he tallied one time earlier on in the season, like how many people he could kill per day. If he was doing it from like this time to this time.
Yeah.
Like once he got home from school, I think was his tally. So he could have eradicated a lot of people and then from Japan and then moved on to another country. Maybe pretty soon, maybe after a month or so.
I'm so pissed that he killed Ivor and Weddy, bro. Like, why'd they fucking have to do it?
It was like, I know they were criminals, but still, like, I think the difference is they were criminals that we got to know a little bit. Yeah,
and like, that seems like something at the end of the series I would have been like, I wonder if Light killed Ivor and Weddy. I can't believe they showed it to us on screen. They showed the daddy scene. That killed me. I was like, what the hell, man? All right, I have nothing.
Did it scare you slightly, though, once he killed Ivor and Weddy, that he might kill the other investigation?
No.
Okay.
Because
I didn't believe he would, but there was like a little, like, once I saw that he was killing them, I was like, oh my god, is he gonna eradicate everyone that, like, was even a part of the investigation?
I think he needs them alive to maintain the facade at the moment.
Maintain the facade, yeah.
I am worried, like, I don't think it's gonna be harder on Light because he's taken on so much more bullshit that he has to keep up with.
What's the L line? Was there ever a moment in your life that you told the truth?
Yeah. Now his whole life is a lie. All right, I'm done. You.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video with us. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next episode. I'm excited to see what happens. You?
Yeah.
Sweet.